Thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com, the definitive home for technical analysis online. Our passion is understanding the market and identifying trade opportunities. Our goal is to share our success with others through consultation, training videos, and educational course materials. Get the skills that will make you a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join us today for access to daily analysis and live market coverage, a thriving community of over 1,000 active members, and hours of exclusive educational content. Come for the education, stay for the community.
Everyone checking in on commodities. So we've been doing these videos every weekend for a while now, and if you've been watching them, you know we're watching things on a longer term perspective. So monthly and weekly time frame for me in the commodity world, which is definitely different than what I normally do, as I'm a day trader, short-term trader, and it's just more clear to me. What I'm always doing is looking at time frames and determining what is the most clear time frame for this setup. That's the time frame I focus on, and it just so happens that in this current commodity environment, for me, it is the monthly time frame where things are standing out very clearly. So on the dollar, we have this clear uptrend over the last bunch of months, over a year at this point, and anything above 95.03 keeps that uptrend intact. And we know we have a very clear resistance level of 97.71 with multiple tops. So at this point, it's a double top on the monthly time frame, but because the bears have gotten no follow through to lose the uptrend, we're still right here testing this resistance level. So we're currently about, just a few percent away. And if the bulls are able to get over 97.71, there's a lack of resistance immediately nearby, and we will be looking for a more prolonged pullback in gold due to the inverse relationship. So here's the weekly, and we can pretty much see a double bottom down at 95.74, just off by a couple pennies here, but a base of support that held and a clear wall of resistance that's rejecting the price. And that's what we're watching with the bulls in control, as we are closer to breaking resistance than we are to support. And the bulls are hoping that the daily chart here is a bit of a cup and handle psychology, in the sense that we have the left side, we pulled all the way back. Our right side was a lower high, unable to break resistance, healthy consolidation, potential little bull flag there. And if this week, if these dollar bulls can break 97.71, it will be notable. In that instance, we will be looking for this multiple year monthly equilibrium on gold to continue to pull back. And that would tell us we have not formed a higher low yet. So we've been in this scenario where we're watching and saying, okay, if this is our higher low on this pattern, that is definitely going to favor the bulls overall. I've got our high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high at 1346. And now we're looking for the higher low. So if that is our higher low at 1280, it's very bullish because we didn't pull back into the middle of this range. You can see our range right now is 1160 up to 1346. So pretty much $185 range. And to put us right in the middle of that range, it would be at about 1250, 1260 or so. So if we see the dollar break 97.71 resistance, I would anticipate that gold is going to pull back down to the mid 1200s, more into the middle of this equilibrium. And if that is the case, that tells me that this equilibrium could continue playing out pretty much all of 2019. We could pull back for another couple of months. That would take us to the middle of the year. Then the bulls would want to establish a monthly higher low at some point, and then we'd have to make our way back up towards resistance. So pretty much looking like the end of 2019, maybe Q4 2019 is when we'd be looking at this pattern to break, but there's no reason that we need to try and predict when it's going to break, when we can check in every single day and watch how it's playing along. So pretty much short term, what we're looking at is, can 1280 support hold? And it's clear on the weekly time frame that that is the level short term. It's a double bottom right now. We have our high of the bull move, low of consolidation. Our lower high was 1324 on gold, and here is our double bottom. So it's a tightening weekly equilibrium pattern at this point. Bulls want to make their way back over 1300 to make their way into continuing to tighten up this equilibrium. So gold does have clarity on the weekly time frame. I'm not only watching the monthly chart, but patiently waiting for the indication. If we break bull here on the weekly for gold, we're going to say, all right, our monthly higher low is established. Very brief consolidation favors the bulls overall. And if not, if we break 1280, we need to zoom out and remain patient for a longer term equilibrium pattern to continue playing out. The miners here, looking at the senior miners, and the senior miners consistently in the past year plus have shown us more strength than the junior miners. And it's not the case always. When you zoom in on shorter time frames, there's individual days where that can vary. But just in a broader rule of thumb sense, the senior miners are stronger. And here on the weekly time frame, we can see the high and the low similar to what gold has. The lower high And where gold formed the double bottom, we didn't test that support yet on GDX. So that low was 2140 and GDX only pulled back to 2180 or so, pretty much held that support by about 2%. But you look at the junior miners and we did come down to that level. So we have the high, low of the pullback, lower high, and there's our double bottom, very much in line with what gold is doing. But we can see that the junior miners pulled back farther than the senior miners. So there's still tightening ranges for both of them on the weekly time frame, just like gold is. And again, we're looking in the next couple of weeks to get a clear break of this tightening weekly pattern to determine what is the most likely scenario on the longer term monthly time frames. The bull miners here on the monthly chart are hoping that it's a bull flag with very brief consolidation before continuation. If that were going to play out, we would need to see gold hold 1280 and head back up towards its key monthly resistance of 1347. So getting interesting in the short-term weekly time frames, but how they break is going to determine whether we want to look bullish or take a step back and zoom out to the monthly time frame. Oil weekly time frame continuing bullish. We know there's a lack of resistance. Bulls have done nothing but follow through in a very convincing way. The daily chart bull flag Friday was confirmed. We had a healthy tightening equilibrium pattern that broke bullish. It's just been bullish on all fronts. Our new short-term support is 61.79. Anything above that keeps the daily uptrend intact. And again, trying to find resistance levels from where we stand. This is where we were at when we dropped from pretty much 68 down to 54 with no support levels established, which means no resistance levels established now that we're making our way back up. I'm looking up at 63. Nope. We're looking at 64.11 as the next short-term level to be watching as the bulls are in full control. We know oil is going to set a monthly lower high, very likely, compared to 76.88, but there's no sign of that happening just yet. When that does happen, and when this oil monthly chart needs to consolidate for a higher low, I'm going to be looking for that to be an indication, potentially, for the S&P 500 to need to see a bit more prolonged consolidation as well. But again, there's absolutely no sign of that at this point, and perhaps we can make our way back up towards the mid $60 range in the short term as the bulls have remained on fire the last 4 months. Natural gas, we're wondering now, can the bulls form a weekly higher low and then change the trend? And to do so, they're going to have to hold 2571 and break our double top at 2894. That would change the weekly trend. But first things first, we have to hold 2571. Attempting a bullish reversal candlestick on the weekly time frame right now, but that was just one bullish day there, which was a solid bull day at the end of the week. But that's not enough to be confident. We need to change the daily trend to be confident that our weekly higher low has formed and that the bulls can make their way back up towards that 2894 resistance. And to change this daily trend, we're going to have to see a bounce. Anything under 2719 is a lower high, but essentially we need the higher low, higher high pattern to change that daily trend and be looking for that weekly equilibrium to play out. So at this point, if you want to be high risk, high reward as a bull, you're going to enter with a stop loss of 2624. If you want to give a little bit more wiggle room, you're going to enter with a stop below 2571. But for me personally, I would rather wait for the bulls to prove their momentum with a weekly trend change to indicate that the long downtrend over the last 5+ months is coming to a close. So patiently waiting on all of these time frames, or I should say all of these commodities on different time frames, some weekly charts, some monthly charts, to give us indication of what to look at going forward. And I do believe, personally, I would like to see gold continue to tighten up, because the tighter we get, the more follow through we're going to get when that break occurs. And because this pattern is so long forming, I do believe that we could see the follow through last over a year in whatever direction that break does occur. So personally, I'd love to see us fall back to 1240, 1250, and then see a bull move and form a lower high compared to 1346. Let's draw out what that would look like real quick. So pull back, form the higher low, come up, form the lower high, come down, form the higher low, and then get a bull break. If things can get that tight before the bull break, I do believe that the follow through would be a bit more explosive. But again, one day at a time as always, and we'll continue checking in. Hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon. So adventure time, we are heading back from Vegas, going to the East Coast, heading to Florida for me, and booking it through Texas and Mississippi in the South. Didn't take a whole lot of time. It was winter at this point. We're talking December, January, so snow on the ground, and I didn't think it got that cold in Texas, but it does. But there were some great state parks, and state parks are kind of like national forests in the sense that If you're there on weekdays and it's not the summer, there is nobody there. So didn't expect to see frozen water in Texas, but some nice views and some nice hikes. And this was a little state park, and I was literally the only person there. Camping out by myself and trails to myself, and it was great. So just avoiding the rush hour and not feeding the alligators can give you some solitude. And it wasn't too cold. Definitely had to bundle up at night, but certainly after that 12-degree night in Zion, everything else was just a bonus. And some nice trees and nature and angles of sunlight at golden hour. And from here, I did go on a little road trip in Florida, so we'll cover that next. And that's the end of my Honda Civic. So had that Honda Civic from high school, drove it across the country twice, one time with my buddies from North Carolina to California, down the coast, back across the South, through the Occupy movement, then took that individual road trip, so certainly spent a lot of time with that little guy. It's a good car. Never really caused me much trouble. And sent it off. I donated it that year, and my taxes were such that the donation didn't do anything for me, so I could have just given it away to a friend. But hopefully it helped out somebody. What else we got here? CBD. I found this photo. This is 5 years old. I was taking CBD before it was the hip thing to do. I forget which company made that. It certainly wasn't public, but probably not trustworthy either. Nice to see that we are getting some legitimate companies and some standards. Looking forward to standards in CBD, because we don't know what mold is on those flowers that they're getting their CBD from, and we don't know what extraction methods they're using. So we do need some kind of regulation in that industry to ensure quality standards are kept. So I am looking forward to that part of things. And I'll see you all in the near future. And we'll go over a little Florida road trip, which is cool as long as you don't do it in the summer. And I made that mistake, and it was miserable. So have a good night. We'll see you soon.